everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge Hub. Friends, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम मैनेजरियल इकोनॉमिक्स की क्लास करने वाले हैं जो कि क्लास 6 है। ऑलरेडी हम क्लास 5 कर चुके हैं। अगर हम क्लास 5 की बात करते हैं तो हमने यूनिट 1 कंप्लीट कर लिया है, यूनिट 2 कंप्लीट कर लिया है एंड यूनिट 3 भी कंप्लीट कर लिया है। दिस इज़ द फर्स्ट क्लास ऑफ यूनिट 4 विच इज़ योर मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर एंड मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर दिस इज़ योर फोर्थ यूनिट एज आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट इट। एंड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट्स अ ह्यूज रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम माई साइड टू ऑल द व्यूअर्स, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. As we had talked about it, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3 in the detailed in the last classes. You can go through with the playlist, you will find out each and every video, and there we had only cover up the 5 classes, and in the 5 classes we had done 3 units. You can go through with that. And now we will start with the unit 4, which is your market structure. In the market structure, first of all we have to know about it, what is market structure is all about. So the first question will start with explain the meaning of market. So the meaning of market, if I'm talking about here, that the market is an actual or a nominal place where forces of demand and supply operate and where buyers and sellers interact directly or through intermediaries to trade goods, services or contracts or instruments for money and or barter here. The market include mechanism or means for, that is we have, so we'll talk about the mechanisms of markets, or you can say that means of markets as well. So in that same case we have a 4. The first is to determining the price of the traded items that we have here. The first is determining price of the traded item. Second we have is communicating the price information. The third we have facilitating deals and transaction, and the fourth we have affecting distribution. That is affecting distribution here. Now the market for a particular item is made up of existing and potential customers who need it and have the ability and they are willing to pay for it. Now we'll go ahead with other question, that is that to describe the term equilibrium and how a firm will reach to equilibrium with the fluctuations in demand and supply. So you have to explain the equilibrium and then you have to explain how a firm will reach to equilibrium and eliminate that the fluctuation in the demand and supply with respect towards that, and that has been asked of 10 marks, so that is also an important one here as well. So that will that has been asked of 10 marks as well, and that is your the other question they can ask you in the terms of it, that to define equilibrium of a firm. So we'll go ahead with equilibrium of a firm. So equilibrium of a firm that we are dealing here in this, that any firm is said to be an equilibrium when it has no incentive either to expand or to contract in its production. And in equilibrium the output or production of the firm is maximum, that is your demand and supply are equal or in balance. Once equilibrium is achieved, price movement stops and equilibrium remains stable. Equilibrium of the firm is an ideal state. Under the equilibrium condition of a firm, the firm enjoys maximum supernormal profits, and also firm suffers from minimum losses or no loss at all. At any price above that equilibrium, the quantity supplied exceeds the quantity demanded, which results in the surplus and no transaction between the buyers and sellers as well. At any price below the quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supplied, which results in the shortage, and only at intersections of the demand and supply, that are the quantities demanded and supplied equal, the price of the quantity equilibrium is stable here. Now we'll go ahead with other question that has been asked for 5 marks, and that is what are the different types of market, or we can say that what are the different types of market competition. So either they ask you about the different types of market because it has been asked for 5 marks, but they can also ask you about the different types of market competition, so or different types of market structure. So that is the same here. So let's go ahead to discuss about the types of market structures here. So before starting with the types of market structure, first we'll have to go through with that, which is that the interconnected characteristics of a market, such as the numbers and relative strength of buyers here. So here we'll talk about it, which is the interconnected characteristics of the market, such as the number of the relative strength of buyers, sellers, and the degree of the collision and among them, level and forms of competition, extents of product differentiations, and ease of entry into the exit from the market. So the 4 basic types of the market structure we have. The first we have is your perfect or pure competition. So perfect and pure competitions here. In the perfect and pure competition, that many buyers and sellers, none being able to influence prices. The second we have is oligopoly. In oligopoly here, that the several large sellers who have some control over the prices. The third we have, which is monopoly. So in the monopoly here, that the single seller with considerable control over supply and prices as well. And the fourth with the last one, which is monopsony. And in this, that the single buyers with a considerable control over the demand and prices as well. So we have here the 4 which is the types of the market, which is the perfect and a pure competition, oligopoly, monopoly, and monopsony. And now we'll discuss about explain the market structure and its importance in present era, and that has been asked of 10 marks. So the market structure and its importance in the present era, that what we have to discuss about it. So the market structure will go ahead. In the terms of that has been asked of 10 marks. So in the market, that market is a place where the buyers and the sellers exchange their goods and its cost. In some cases, such as local fruit stall, buyers and sellers, and physically in the other cases that such as the stock market, transaction is done by a computer. We'll talk about this is all about market, and the market structure states that the market structure is the characteristics of the market that influence the behavior of the performance of the firm working in that market. Basically, the 3 market structures models with a verifying degree of market control on the supply side of the market are, which is monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly here. So that has been divided into many, and that I will be telling you about it with that categorization, and then after that we'll discuss about it in each and every one in detail as well. So the graph that we can see here, that is, this is your market structure. That market structure has been divided into 3. That is your perfect competition, so here with the perfect competition, the second is your imperfect competition, and the third is your monopoly. So that imperfect competition is also being divided into three. That is monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and the third is your duopoly. So that we'll discuss here in the detailed here, and that is the types of market. So let's go ahead with the types of market. So in the terms of the types of market, there is the first we have is your perfect competition market. In a perfect competition market here, a perfectly competitive market is one in which the number of the buyers and the sellers is very large and all engaged in buying and selling the homogeneous product without any engaged in buying and selling a homogeneous product without any artificial restrictions and possessing perfect knowledge of market at a time. The perfect competition is a market structure that is characterized by a complete absence of rivalry among the individual firm. According to the R.G. Lepsey, perfect competition is a market structure in which all firms in an industry are price takers and in which that there is a freedom of entry into and exit from industry here. The second we have is your that is monopoly market. Second market we'll discuss about, which is your monopoly. In a monopoly market, where monopoly is a market situation in which there is only one seller of a product with barriers to entry of the others, the product has no close substitutes, the cross elasticity of the demand with every other product is very low. This means that no other firm produces a similar product. According to D. Salvatore, monopoly is a form of market organization in which there is a single firm selling a commodity and that is for which there are no close substitutes. Thus, the monopoly firm is itself an industry and the monopolist faces the industry demand curve. The demand curve for his product is therefore relatively stable and slopes downward to the right given the taste and income of his customer. It means that more of the product that can be sold at a lower price than at the higher price. He is a price maker who can set the price to his maximum advantages. However, it does not mean that he can set both price and output. He can do either of the two things. His price is determined by his demand curve once he selects his output level or once he sets the price for his product. His output is determined by what consumer will take at the price in any situation. The ultimate aim of the monopolist is to have maximum profit. The other question we'll talk about it, which is the third one, which is your monopolistic competition. In the monopolistic competition here, monopolistic competition refers to a market situation where there are many firms selling a differentiated products. There is competition which is keen to the differentiated products, and there is the competition which is keen through the not perfect among many firms that making very similar products as well. No firm can have any perceptible influence on the price output policies of the other sellers, nor that can be influenced much by their actions as well. In the same case, the monopolistic competition refers to the competition among the large number of sellers, producing close but not perfect substitutes for each other. We'll talk about another one, which is the fourth one, which is oligopoly. In the oligopoly, that oligopoly is a market situation in which there is a few firms selling homogeneous or differentiated products. It is difficult to pinpoint the number of the firms in competition among the few, and with only a few firms in the market, the action of the firm is likely to affect the other. An oligopoly industry produces either a homogeneous product or a heterogeneous product. The former is called pure or perfect oligopoly, and the later is called imperfect or differentiated oligopoly here. Pure oligopoly is found primarily among the producers of such industrial products as aluminium, cement, copper, steel, zinc, etc. Imperfect oligopoly is found among the producers of such consumer goods as automobiles, cigarettes, soap and detergents, TVs, rubber tires, refrigerators, typewriters, etc. Now we'll talk about the fifth one, which is your duopoly. Where the duopoly here, that the duopoly is a special case of the theory of oligopoly, in which there are only the two sellers. Both the sellers are completely independent and no agreement exists between them. Even though they are independent, a change in the price and output of one will affect the other and may set the chain of reaction. A seller may have, however, assumed that his rival is unaffected by what he does. In that case, he takes only his own direct influence on the price here. With the same cases, if on the other hand each seller takes into the account of the effect of his policy on that of his rival and the reaction of the rival on himself again, and then he considers both the direct and the indirect influences upon the price. And moreover, a rival seller's policy that may remain unaltered either to the market or to the amount offered for the sale or to the price at which he offers his product. Thus, the duopoly problem that can be considered as either ignoring mutual dependence or recognizing it as well. Now we'll go ahead with other questions here. So where we had discussed about the duopoly as well in a detail, and that in the other hand, that each seller that takes into the account of the effect of his policy on that of his rival and the reactions of the rival run that on himself again, then he considers both the direct and the indirect influences upon the prices, and moreover the rival seller's policy may be remain unaltered, either the amount of offered for the sale or to the price at which the offers his product. Thus, the duopoly problem that can be considered as either ignoring the mutual dependence and recognizing it as well. Now we'll go ahead with other one, that is in the duopoly, that is a special case of the theory of the oligopoly, and in which there are the only two sellers. Both the sellers are completely independent and no argument exists between them. So even though they are independent, and a change of the price and output of one that affect the other, and that may set the chain of reaction, where a seller may however assume that his rival is unaffected by what he does, and in that case he takes only his own direct influence on the prices as well. We'll go ahead with other one. That is another topic, and that has been asked of 10 marks as well, and even though that has been asked of 2 marks as well. So that is how firms attain equilibrium under the monopoly in long term, that we had discussed in the starting here. And the other question that this has been asked of 10 marks, and the other question that has been, that is your what are the features of the market, and briefly explain the various types of market structure, which has been asked for 2 marks in 17-18. So now we'll discuss in a detailed, which is your perfect competition. And here the question has been asked is, write a short note on substitute effect and a perfect competition. So that has been asked of 10 marks, so that every consists of each 5 marks here. So let's go ahead with substitution effect. In the terms of substitution effect here, that occurs due to the consumer's inherent tendencies to substitute the cheaper goods for the relatively expensive one, and the substitution effect is based on the idea that as prices rises, and the consumers will replace more expensive item with cheaper substitute or alternative, assuming income remains the same as well. Where in the case that as the price increases that for the good, we start to think of the other product or choices that can satisfy us to our relatively lower prices. We are given our budget has stayed the same, and we must continually find the ways to meet our needs as price increases around us, and the good that we switch over to the after a price increases and are called substitute goods as well. So the other we have is the another one which is to be discussed is that is your perfect competition. In perfect competition, that in a perfect competition there are many firms competing, and each firm is so small relative to the whole industry that it has no power to influence price, and it is price taker. Perfect competition means all the buyers and the sellers in the market are aware of the price of product, and in a perfect competition the demand for the output for each producer is perfectly elastic. With the larger number of the firms and the homogeneous products, no individual firm is in the position to influence the price as well. Now we'll go ahead with other one, that what we have to discuss is the other question, which is what is perfect competition, which even though we had discussed here, and explain the conditions of the firm and industry under the perfect conditions. So under the perfect competition, that we'll talk about it of course, and that we have the conditions of firm and industry under perfect competition. So in this, that the condition of the firm and the industry under the perfect competition, that we will talk about it here. In this, that the following are the conditions of perfectly competitive market. The first we have the large number of buyers and sellers in the market. The second is your homogeneous product. The third is your free entry or exit as well. The fourth we have all the buyers and the sellers in the market have a perfect knowledge about the market condition. The fifth we have is a perfect mobility of factors of production. And the sixth and the last we have the condition, that is the absence of transportation cost as well. So now we'll go ahead with the other one that we have to discuss. Another question that has been asked is firm is price taker and are under a perfect competition. You have to elaborate that, and that has been asked of 10 marks, so you have to elaborate in a brief, and that has been very important question because this has been asked 2 times in the examination paper, in the recent examination paper of AKTU here. So in this particular question, that the statement we have is firm is a price taker under the perfect competition, that what we have to talk about it here. So here that will go ahead, that is we have firm is price taker under perfect competition. So firm is a price taker under the perfect competition is that we have to elaborate, and that has been asked of 10 marks. So here that a perfectly competitive firm operate within a structure that is defined by the 5 criteria. The first criteria is that the sale of the product that are identical to their competition. The second is that the inability of the firm to control the market price. The third is that the ownership of the relatively small market share by each firm. The fourth is that the complete transparency regarding the product and the prices. And the last is that the freedom of entry and exit as well. That is comes under in it, where a perfectly competitive firm that would be characterized as a price taker due to the inability of the influence market. In reference towards it, in a perfectly competitive market, the price of the product are fixed, since each firm is producing just enough to say that stay in business. Therefore, a perfectly competitive firm is essentially given a price at which to sell their product, since they have no motivation to sell their products at price that differ from the perfect market demand as well. In contrast, a monopoly firm has a full control over the market in which it operates, as such that this type of a firm that can manipulate market price purely by changing the price and quantity of their product as well. In the same case, that a monopoly firm is called a price maker because it determines the market price and the rate of the supply. Under these conditions, there must be a roadblock to entry and exit within the market, imperfect knowledge on behalf of the buyers, and only one producer within the market as well. Therefore, A monopoly firm domination is dependent upon the elasticity of the market, and the less elastic, the greater degree to which a firm that can act as a price maker and manipulate the market price as well. Now we'll go ahead with the detail about it, that the imperfect competition on a monopolistic, oligopoly and a duopoly as well. In the same references, what is imperfect competition, that we'll talk about it. In the terms of imperfect competition, that the question has been arised is what is imperfect competition here, and in that the market structure that can be imperfect because of the number of the firms in the industry that may be relatively small, and commodity or services that may not be homogeneous, and a small number of firms that may compete vigorously with one another. The existence of the imperfect competition that can be caused either by the fewness that of the firms or by the product differentiation. Therefore, the imperfect competition has several subcategories as well. Now we'll go ahead with the detail about it, which is your characteristics of monopoly. The characteristics of monopoly here, that there is a single producer of commodity and there is an absence of competition. The third characteristic is there are no close substitute for a monopoly product. The fourth characteristic is that the cross elasticity of the demand for the monopoly product is zero in the case of the pure monopoly and very low in the case of the simple monopoly. The fifth characteristics of the monopoly we have, the monopolistic firm has control over the supply of its commodity as well. The sixth characteristics we have, that there is no distinction between the firm and the industry under the monopoly. The seventh characteristic, cases of the pure monopolies are not found in developed countries. However, such cases of the pure monopolies are found in developing countries as well. The eighth characteristic we have, and a monopolist will prevent entry of new firm in the long run as well. Now we'll go ahead with the question here, which is to explain the sources of monopoly, or the different sources of monopoly that we have to discuss here, which we have is the four. Different sources of monopoly. So the different sources of monopoly that we'll talk about it, where the first we have is a legal sanction. In legal sanction, and a monopoly that may be the results of the government sanction, and the government of the country that may legally permit a private monopoly or monopoly in a public sector for myriad reasons. The national security, example, that is manufacture of defense and equipment. The social equity, that is your post office, water supply, electricity supply, telephones, or economic considerations like public utility services or essential goods to be produced on the large scale by a single firm for reducing the cost and the prices as well. Monopolies that may be created to avoid the waste due to the duplications of the services, like example public utilities as well. The second we have, that the different source of the monopoly we have, the second we have is your control over supply of input. Control over supply of inputs here, that is what we have to talk about it. A monopoly situation that may arise due to the control over the supply of an essential input and a raw material, that is skilled labor, technology, and denying access to these inputs to any potential firm. Example, government monopoly of the railway in India, and that is in the same case that the rail tracks that are not used to by private rail companies. Monopolies may be protected through that is your protectionist policy of the government by putting tariffs on foreign goods as well. The third we have is your merger for the large scale production here. In the merger for the large scale production here, that the monopoly undertaking may be consequences of the necessity to produce on the large scale to reduce the cost, and existing small that firms that may merge into a big firm or may not source in the long term. It is only when there is a single firm in such a situation that costs are greatly reduced due to the economies of the large scale production. We'll talk about the fourth one which we have. The fourth we have is your rival firm eliminated. Rival firms eliminated. So here that is pressures, tactics and unfair means by a giant firm that may lead to the elimination of the rival firm from the industry to secure sole positions of a giant firm as well. That in India, many such examples were revealed in the Monopoly Inquiry Commission reports as well. So you can say that different sources of the monopoly we have, that is your legal sanction, control over the supply of input, and that the merger for the large scale production, and the rival firm eliminated as well. The other question has been arises, write a short note on monopoly with assumptions. So we'll talk about the monopoly and as well as we'll talk about the assumptions as well. So in the terms of monopoly, that has been asked of 3 marks here, and that is the monopoly means that the existence of a single producer or a seller which is producing or selling a product which has no close substitutes, and it is an extreme form of imperfect competition. And since a monopoly firm exercises sole control over the supply of product which can have only remote substitute, and the expansion of the contraction in its output that will affect the price of the product, and therefore the demand curve facing the monopolist is downward sloping and has a steep slope as well. Then now we'll discuss about assumptions here. So assumptions of monopoly here, that the first assumption is that the sellers are price maker. The second is sellers do not behave strategically. The third is that entering to the market is completely blocked, and the fourth is that the buyers are the price takers as well. Now we'll talk about the other one, that is write a short note on oligopoly, and that has been asked of 5 marks here, which is your oligopoly here. In the oligopoly here, that oligopoly is the type of market condition which is most appropriate in the today's economy. The oligopoly is characterized by a mutual interdependence among a few sellers who controlled the total market supply. Oligopoly therefore occurs when there is only a few sellers, and it differs from both monopoly and a perfect competition, and from monopolist competition as well. With this, that the oligopoly is a market where a small group of producers have significant control over the major portions of the market in the demand here, that with or without the differentiated products as well. Where in the same cases that is an oligopoly market structure, there are the few interdependent firms that dominate the market, and they are likely to change their price according to the competition that the competitors here. Example is like if Coca-Cola changes their price, the Pepsi is also likely to change here. Now we'll go ahead. Under the oligopoly market, a firm either produces, that is a homogeneous product, or that is your heterogeneous product. So that we'll discuss about it. Homogeneous product. In the homogeneous product here, that the firm producing the homogeneous product that are called pure or perfect oligopoly, and it is found the producers of industrial products such as aluminium, copper, steel, zinc, iron, etc. The second we have is your heterogeneous product. In the heterogeneous product here, that the firm producing the heterogeneous product are called the imperfect or a differentiated oligopoly. Such type of oligopoly is found in the procedures of consumers goods such as automobiles, soap, detergents, televisions and refrigerator, etc. Now we'll go ahead with the other one, that is what are the assumptions of oligopoly market structure. So the assumptions of oligopoly in a market structure, that we have 6, we have many assumptions, but we'll talk about the more than 6 here. So that is, the first we have a few producers in the market, and the second is that the product feature that may be same like homogeneous or may not same, that is differentiated. Each seller has to take into account of the reactions of the rivals to his own pricing policy. Limited entry for the sellers in the market. Consumers get the benefit of competition. And the sixth is method of marketing like advertising, rival quality and prices as well. These were the assumptions of oligopoly market structure. Now we'll go ahead. That the other question has been asked is that write a short note on monopoly and oligopoly with assumptions, so that we had discussed, and that has also been asked for 5 marks. Now the other question has been arise, how you will differentiate between monopoly and duopoly. So monopoly and duopoly, that we have to differentiate. Differentiate between monopoly and duopoly. And differentiate between a monopoly and a duopoly, here there are many, but we'll discuss more than 4. So that is the first, we have the first difference between the monopoly and a duopoly we have, that is the monopoly only one seller in the market. For the duopoly there are 2 sellers in the market. For the second difference, that monopoly price is decided by seller and duopoly competition in prices. The third exists in the rare situation, and duopoly it practically exists. The monopoly sole control of the supply by a seller. Duopoly it is not in duopoly. The fifth, in monopoly difficult entry in market. Duopoly market entry is not very difficult. I will discuss about the another one, which is to elaborate monopolistic competition, which has been asked of 2 marks here, and we'll talk about even though the examples of monopolistic competition as well. That is monopolistic competition. In the monopolistic competition, here this has been asked of 2 marks here. So the monopolistic market structure that refer to a market where there are many sellers but each has unique product to sell, and they are all monopolistic for the supply of their own product particular, but they are all in competition with other suppliers of very similar sorts of product as well. Where monopolistic competition is similar to the oligopoly, and the distinction is that in monopolistic competition there are many producers as compared to a few in oligopoly, and the product differentiation is also more in the monopolistic competition, and it is a product differentiation which makes monopolistic competition different from the perfect competition, and which cause its own consequences for the product and performances of the sellers as well. Talk about the examples of monopolistic competition, that the car here, that the car industry is a good example. Each car maker sells a unique vehicle. No one car maker can offer exactly the same types of car. All cars are to be some extent substitutes for each other, and each car maker is engaged in a competitive battle with all the other car makers as well. The other question that has been arise is that is in the form of, that has been asked of 8 marks. The question is, duopoly is a situation of perpetual disequilibrium. Explain. That has been asked of 8 marks. Duopoly is a situation of perpetual disequilibrium. Explain. So that has been asked of 8 marks. So we have to explain that duopoly is a situation of perpetual disequilibrium. So in this, that under the duopoly without the product differentiation, there are 2 monopolists and selling an identical that commodity, and there is no product differentiation. There is also a possibility for the collision as well, and they may agree on prices on the divide of the market for goods, and suppose if there is no agreement between the two, the constant price war will emerge, and in this case they will earn only the normal profit, and if their costs are different, the one with lower cost will squeeze out the other, and the simple monopoly would result here. Where in the same case, the best cost of the duopolist that will be fixed to the monopoly price and share the market and profit. In the short run, duopoly, that is in the short run, duopoly price may be lower than the competitive price, and in a long term the price may be somewhere between the monopoly price and the competitive price. When there is a product differentiation, each producer will have his own customers, and there is no danger of price war. There is no agreement, since products are differentiated. The firm with better product will earn the super normal profits as well. According to the Edgeworth, each duopolist believes that his rivals will continue to change the same price. With this assumption that, and taking the example here of that is your Cornuts mineral well, that Edgeworth that showed that no determinants determinate a equilibrium that would be reached in the duopoly, and further it is also assumed that the products of the two duopolists are perfectly homogeneous here. In the same case, the cost conditions of the two duopolies need not to be exactly the same but must be similar. Edgeworth model that has been said about the price and the output as well, that again be represented here. So where that the demand of it on, if the two product that here that AB is to be determined the demand curve, and that the producers X of the AB one, that is your be the demand curve, and for the producers Y, and that the maximum possible quantity each producer that can produce on a supply, which is your OQ by X and OQ, and that is your by Y as well. And if each producer wants to sell his entire output, he will have to fix the price like OP1, that they can fix it out. On the other hand, if the two rivals joins together to maximize the profit, they will fix the price at OP and sell on ON and that ON1 and that output respectively as well. Each producer will get a maximum profit of ONCP and then ON1 or C1P and then respectively on the behalf of their input here. If two producers charges the price OP, then XY will be selling ON and then ON1 that amounts of this output respectively. And suppose that the producer X thinks that revising his price policy, so the producers X will believe that producer Y will keep his price unchanged at OP. So he realized that if he wants he sets the price slightly lower than OP and he can sell his entire output and get maximum profit. So producer X will lower his price from OP to OR and sell his entire output OQ, and that will earn profit equal to OQSR, and this X would increase his profit by lowering his price as well. In the same case, but when producer X reduces his price, the producer Y will find his sales considerably reduced and profits will fall. So as a result, the producer Y will fix price at OR1 so that he can sell his entire output. As the result of this, and sales and profits of the producer X will greatly decline. The producer X will now react with a thing that if the producer that the price is little below the OR1, so he will be able to sell his whole output by attracting the customer to the producer Y, and then the producer X reduces his price, his profit will increase for a moment as well. In the same case, but producer Y will react and reduce his price further to increase by his profit. In this way, the price cut will continue until the price falls to the level of OP1, at which the both producers that sell their entire output at OP1 producers X and Y are selling OB and OB1 respectively and are making profit equals to the OBTP1 and OB1 T1 P1 respectively. According to Edgeworth, equilibrium is not attained at OP1 price, and that each will be incentive that to raise the price, and if the producers X raises the price of OP1 with reference towards it, and that the producer Y will of course raise his price to the level of slightly lower than OP as well, and the producer X will now fix the price slightly lower than Y levels, and in this way their price will fluctuate between OP and OP1, that gradually downwards but upwards in the jump. So thus that Edgeworth duopoly has said that the solution is one of the perpetual disequilibrium, and price will constantly oscillating between the monopoly price and a competitive price. So no determinate and unique equilibrium of the duopoly is suggested by the Edgeworth's duopoly model here. Now we'll go ahead with other discussion, and that we have, which is here to elaborate imperfect competition with its type and also give a table related to it. So that we'll discuss here, and that has been asked of 8 marks, and that will go ahead here as well. So the question is arise that elaborate the imperfect competition with its types and also give the table related to it, as I told you about, which has been asked for 8 marks. So let's go ahead with imperfect competition. In the same case for the imperfect competition, if I'm talking about here in the detail, that it is a firm that can appreciably affect the market price of its output, and then the firm is classified as an imperfect competitor as well. Imperfect competition exists whenever the individual seller has some measures of control over the price of their output as well. And modern industrial economy that have a different varieties of imperfect competition, that depending on the number of the sizes of the sellers and how much of the market the large seller control. Economists classify imperfectly competitive market into the three different market structure, and that the market structure of the imperfect we have. So imperfect competition has been divided into three, as I told you about it, which is the first is your monopoly, the second is your oligopoly, and the third is your monopolistic competition. So that is imperfect market structure here. In this same case, that the market structure that can be imperfect because of the number of the firm in the industry that may be relatively small, and the commodity or services that may not be homogeneous, and a small number of firms that may compete vigorously with one another, and the existence of the imperfect competition that can be caused either by the fewness of the firm or by the product differentiation. Therefore, the imperfect competition has several subcategories that we'll discuss on respect toward the feature: perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and of course the oligopoly, that is the market forms. We'll discuss one by one feature on the basis of the market forms here. So the first feature we have is the number of firms. In perfect competition, that is large; monopoly, that is only one; monopolistic competition, varied but not too many; and oligopoly, a few. So that is comes under the number of the firms. The second feature we have is the nature of product. In this, the perfect competition, homogeneous; monopoly is a one type; monopolistic competition, product differentiation; and oligopoly, homogeneous or differentiated. That can be both. And the third feature we have entry of the firm. The perfect competition, that is free; monopoly, no entry; monopolistic competition, that is free; oligopoly, that is restricted. The other we have is the degree of monopoly power, and the degree of monopoly power, in perfect competition, 0; monopoly, full; monopolistic competition, limited; oligopoly, limited due to the product differentiation. The fifth feature is a price policy of the firm. In a perfect competition, that is price taker; and monopoly, price maker; monopolistic competition, price maker; and oligopoly, that is also price maker. The sixth feature we have market knowledge. In perfect competition, that is complete knowledge; monopoly, incomplete; monopolistic competition, incomplete; and oligopoly, incomplete. The other seventh feature we have elasticity of demand, where perfect competition perfectly elastic; monopoly less elastic; monopolistic competition less elastic; oligopoly less elastic. The eighth feature is your AR, and that is MR, that is your marginal rate and average rate, that is in the perfect competition is equal; monopoly different; monopolistic competition different; oligopoly, that is different. The ninth feature of this, that we have selling cost, and that is in perfect competition no; monopoly small; monopolistic competition large; and oligopoly, that is small here. Now we'll go ahead with a discussion about it, which is the another question, and that is to explain price determination in the monopoly market, which has been asked in of 10 marks in 16 and 17. So that is price determination in monopoly market. So price determinations in the monopoly market, that what we have to talk about it here, and that is in the same cases, and we are in the same references, that what we'll talk about it. The price determination in monopoly market, that in monopoly there is only one supplier or services that is provided in the market, and the monopolist that can decide the price and the terms of business, and the marginal revenue is always that is less than the average revenue here, and that the equilibrium price and output under the monopoly is usually studied in the two forms here, and that we have is in the form of like the first is your pricing in the short run and a pricing in the long run. So pricing in short run and pricing in long run. So that is in pricing under the monopoly in a short run. So in this, that in monopoly, that the marginal revenue is a curve that lies below the average revenue curve, and these curves along with the short run marginal cost curve, that is SMC, and the short run average cost curve, that is just sat here. So where QA equals to QB, that is equilibrium price, and where QC, if QC equals to OD, that is an average cost, and BC equals to AD, that is an average profit here. So ABCD, that shows a profit earned in an equilibrium here, and that MR, the necessary condition for the attaining the equilibrium is to be satisfied, that MR equals to MC, and that MC curves that passes through the minimum point of AC as well. In the same case, the pricing under the monopoly in the long term, if I'm talking about here, in this the monopoly firm that under the long run that can adjust in its infrastructure suitably to maximize the profit, and that is in the same case that equilibrium price of the monopoly firm is a long term, and where if QOA is equals to QB, that is an equilibrium price, and OQ is equals to AB, that is an equilibrium output, and OD is equals to QC, that is an average cost, AD equals to BC, that is an average profit, and ABCD, that is shows the total path profit earned under the equilibrium, and the firm enjoys the supernatural profit in long term as well, which is LMC stands for the long run marginal cost, LAC stands for the long run average cost, ALAR, that is long run average revenue, and LMR, that is long run marginal revenue as well. That is the price output determination in a long term monopoly. Now we'll discuss about the other question, and that has been asked is your what is oligopoly, which has been asked of 2 marks, and that is very important as well. In the terms of oligopoly here, that oligopoly a market that characterized by a few seller and selling the homogeneous or a differentiated product. In the other words, the oligopoly market structure lies between the pure monopoly and monopolistic competitions, where few sellers dominate the market and have control over the price of the product as well. The question has been asked of 10 marks, that is explain the concept of duopoly in a detail. So concept of duopoly that we have to discuss in a detail, which has been asked of 10 marks as well. So duopoly, from the Greek, duo means two and apolein means to sell, and is the most basic form of oligopoly, and the kind of the imperfect competition is characterized by having only two firms in the market producing a homogeneous goods. For simplicity purpose, oligopolies are normally studied by analyzing the duopolies, what strategies firms follow, and their interaction is a key feature of the market structure. A duopoly is a situation in which two companies own all or nearly all of the market for a given product or a service, and a duopoly that can have the same impact on the market as a monopoly, and if the two players collude on prices or the output as well. Again, in the same case, a duopolies, there are the two variables of interest, that the price set by each firm and the quantity that produced by each firm. For the following duopoly examples, we will be assuming the following. The first, that is the other two firms produce homogeneous in this visible goods, and the second is there are no other firm in the market who produces the same or substitute goods. The third is no other firm that can or will enter the market, and the fourth is that the collusive behavior is prohibited. Firm cannot act together, form that cartel here. So the fifth is that there exists one market for a produced goods as well. Duopoly is a special case of oligopoly, and the duopoly is a special case in the sense that it is limited case of oligopoly, as there must at least two sellers in the market of oligopolistic in nature. So the first is your Carnot duopoly model. Second is your Campbell-Lynn duopoly model. The third is your Beckman duopoly model, and the Edgeworth duopoly model. So that we'll talk about it. So first we have Carnot's duopoly model. The second is the Chamberlain duopoly model. The third is the Bertrand duopoly model, and the fourth is that the Edgeworth duopoly model. So here the example is that the most popular examples of the duopoly is between Visa and the MasterCard, who exercise a major control over the electronic payment processing market in the world, and Pepsi and Coca-Cola are the two major shareholders in the soft drinks market as well. Now we'll go ahead with the detailed about it, which is another question that will describe the short run equilibrium monopoly competition, and that what we have here, and that is a price output determination in monopoly as well, that we can say that here. So the price output determination in a monopoly here, that is, in monopoly there is only one supplier or services that is provided in the market, and the monopolist that can decide the price and the term of the business. The marginal revenue is always less than the average revenue here, and the equilibrium price and the output under the monopoly is usually studied into the two form, which is pricing in the short run and pricing in the long run, that what we had discussed here. And as well we had written here as well, that is also comes under the short run as well. So pricing under the monopoly in the short run here, that is we'll talk about it, which is your in monopoly that the marginal revenue is a curve lies that average revenue, and that these curves along with the short run marginal cost curve and the short run average cost curve as well, and that is as we had discussed about it as well in a detail here. In the respect towards it, same for the price under the monopoly in the long run, that is the monopoly form that under the long run that can adjust the infrastructure suitably to maximize the profit as well. And now we'll go ahead with the other question that is related to the solvent features of the price determinations and the various market competition. The question has been arises, what are the objectives of pricing? So the objectives of pricing, we'll talk about it. Objective of pricing. So the objective of pricing here, the various objective of pricings are that the first we have is just survival. The second is maximum current profit. The third we have is your maximum market share. Maximum market skimming. The fifth we have product quality leadership. Just write it down here. Product quality leadership. Now we'll talk about the another question that has been asked here, which is your plot and describe about the short run equilibrium of a perfectly competitive firm, that has been asked of 10 marks. So we'll talk about the two conditions for the equilibrium state here, and then of course we'll discuss about that as well in a detail. So let's go ahead. So that is short run equilibrium of a perfectly competitive firm. So here in the same cases that we have, and that is the two conditions for the equilibrium states are, the first is the marginal revenue that must be equals to the marginal cost, and that is MR equals to MC, and the marginal cost curve that should intersect marginal revenue curve and near to its bottom. So the very short run is a time period during which the quantity supplied is absolutely fixed, or the total output of the product is fixed, and the demand is fixed, and hence the demand curve is a horizontal straight line. In the same case that the firm attains the equilibrium at a point B at satisfy the both equilibrium condition where OA equals to QB and is an actual price, and OD is equals to QC, that is an average cost, and OQ equals to DC, that is equilibrium output. So the profit equals to actual price minus average cost, that is ABCD is in a total profit here. Now we'll go ahead with other question, that is the another one, that is to discuss the nature. So here in this case that discuss the nature of the short run and a long run cost curve. Why is the long run cost curve flatter than the short run cost curve? That what we have to discuss, which has been asked of 10 marks as well. So short run cost curve first we'll discuss, and then pricing in a long run as well, that what we will discuss here. So let's go ahead. Short run cost curve. Short run a cost curve here in the short run, that a firm that can earn a profit or make loss, that depending on the price and the cost condition that provided by the firm, is to produce as much as that can sold at a given price, and if the market price is P1 or more, the firm is willing to sell, otherwise not. And the supply curve is portion of MC, that beginning from the F, and that the point B is in the equilibrium point, and that is your MR equals to MC. Now we'll talk about the pricing in a long term here. Pricing in a long run, that is in a long run that the firm that can alter in an assets like plant, building, machinery, etc. to increase the production capacity, and the firm that can enjoy normal profit, that is your profit just sufficient to remain its business, that the long run equilibrium of the firm that can be perfect competition, and point B shows long run equilibrium position when the market price goes below LAC and the firm cannot recover its expenses and quits the industry as well. Where in the same cases, now we will go ahead with another one, which is another question has been asked, is to discuss short run total cost curve with the diagram that we had discussed of 2 marks, and that they had asked you the other question, what is the long run total cost curve, explained with the help of a diagram that we had asked, we had discussed about it, that is of 10 marks. The other question is what do you mean by oligopoly, and explain how price and output decisions are taken under the conditions of oligopoly. That has also been asked of 10 marks, and that we'll discuss here because this has not, we had not discussed about it. So that is the topic we'll have to discuss, that is price and output decision in oligopoly. So price and output decisions in the oligopoly, that what you have to discuss. In the case of the non-collusive oligopoly, each firm follow an independent price and output policy on the basis of its judgment, just the reaction of his rivals, and if the firms are producing homogeneous product, price war may occur, and each firm has to fix the price at the competitive level. And that is in the case of the differentiated oligopoly, due to the product differentiation, each firm has some monopoly control over the market, and therefore charge near monopoly price, and thus the actual price may fall between the two limits, which is the upper limit of the monopoly price and the linear limit of the more competitive price. So practically there is every possibility to determine the exact price within these limits, and however there may be a following possibilities, like there may be a complete price instability in the market, which results in the price war, and the price war may settle down at intermediate level due to the working of the market forces, and the firm that may accept the prevailing price and adjust itself according to the prevailing price as well. Now we'll go ahead with other question, that is what is price discrimination, and explain strategies and methods of price discrimination as well. So let's go ahead. So in the terms of the price discrimination here, that the price, this has been asked of 10 marks. So price discrimination is a situation in which a firm sells the same product of different customers at a different price for reason not related to the cost or meeting competition, that the product is differentiated by time, appearance, or by place, that the discrimination of a price exists because of any of the following reasons. The first is when product is demanded at an odd time, and that is the second is that appearance and the nature of the commodity, which is your product, when commodity is demanded at a remote place, and type of use of commodity, that is your domestic or industrial. Here we'll talk about some of the examples of price discrimination as well. So here, that is the examples of the price discrimination is that a doctor's consulting fees, like doctors charges the differently to the different class of the patient, and the second is your electricity board charge, which is the electricity board charge differently in urban and rural areas, and also for the domestic and the industrial use of electricity charge are differently. And in the same cases, that railway goods charges, which is in India, railway charges differently for domestic essential goods like gas, milk, coal, medicines, etc., and the industrial product like cement, oil, fiber, chemicals, etc. In the same cases, that the charges of all the commodities at hill stations and tourist places, like here the sellers charges more than the normal price, and they take the benefit of the consumer mood of enjoyment, and this is called place discrimination. Now we'll talk about in that only the degree of the price discrimination. Degree of price discrimination. So in the terms of the examples of price discrimination, as I told you about the doctor's consulting fee and electricity board charges, railway goods charges, and the charges for all the commodity of the hill stations as well. Degree of the price discrimination, the first we have your price degree, the first degree price discrimination. So first degree price discrimination here, that the firm changes the difference of a price to each of its customer, and the maximum willingness to pay its is fixed as a price which is called as a reservation price. And in a perfect market, that the difference between the demand and the marginal revenue is the profit for additional unit producing and selling as well, and that the firm do not know the customer's willingness, therefore the different prices as well. And in an imperfect market is not possible to price for each and every customers as well. So for that we have a slope downward here. And the second degree discrimination, that we'll have to talk about it here. Second degree discrimination. So in this, that the firm charges different price per unit for the different that quantities of the same goods or services, and the following block pricing method. The unit in the particular block that will be uniformly priced, and the possibly maximum price is charged for some given minimum block of the output purchased by the buyers, and then the additional block are sold at lower price as well, and that is also towards the downward slope here. Now I'll talk about the third degree discrimination. So in the third degree discrimination here, in this that is your that the firm segments that the customers into the group that separate the demand curve, and the charge different price from each group. And the first degree price discrimination in the case of the unit wise differing price, and the second degree price discrimination in the case of the block wise differing price. So in the second degree discrimination, a part of the consumer surplus is captured, but the third degree is commonly used here, and the form that divides its total output into many sub-markets and set of different prices for its product in each market is the relation to demand elasticity. And now there are the two market like 1 and 2, and their demand curves D1 and D2 is given. So D1 is less elastic and D2 is more elastic demand curve, and the firm distributes here that is the market of the firm, and that less elastic demand, therefore the higher price is charged as well. So in the same cases, now we will be ending it here, as we have to cover a few topics more in terms of unit 4, and that will discuss in the next coming class. And after that we will start discussing about unit 5th. I will start with discussing about unit 5th and that only. So I think that will be no longer take time to complete that. And first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button, and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. In the same cases, if I'm talking about with respect towards economics, what we had covered up in the economics, we had covered up that that is your almost 4 unit will complete in the next class, and hopefully we'll complete the 5th unit as well in the next class. So in the unit 1, what we had covered up in the economics here, that is your unit 1, which is the name of the unit is your introduction of engineering economics and the demand analysis. In that we have discussed about the meaning and the nature of the economics, relation between the science, engineering, technology and economics, and meaning of the demand, determinants of the demand, shifts in the demand, law of the demand, price elasticity of the demand and the types, income elasticity, that is your cross price elasticity, determinants of elasticity, and uses of importance of elasticity as well. In unit 2, which is the concept of supply, that is the law of supply, factor affecting supply, elasticity of the curve, supply and the demand forecasting is that introduction, meaning and the forecasting methods of technique that of demand and forecasting, criteria for the good demand forecasting for a new product. In unit 3, we had covered up cost analysis, which is the introduction, type of the cost and the cost output relationship, cost function, cost output relationship in a short run, cost output relationship in a long run, short run in a long run, break and even analysis, production function, laws of variable proportions, laws of Bertin economics of the scale, and internal and external. In unit 4, we had started with the market structure, which is we had completed the market structure as well. We had completed the perfect competition, imperfect competition, monopolistic, oligopoly, duopoly, solvent features of price determinations and the various market conditions, and that's what we have to discuss here. Now in the solvent features of the price determination and various market conditions, that we have to cover up in the next coming class. And we'll start with the unit 5, which is your unit 5 is your nature and characteristics of the Indian economy, concept of LPG, elementary concepts of the national income, inflations and business cycle, concept of NI and adjustment, meaning of inflation, types of causes, phases of business cycle, investment decisions for the boosting economy, national income and a per capita income as well. That's what we have to cover up in the managerial economics here. Other than this, we are dealing with the computer graphics as well as we are dealing with the that is the database management. We'll start with the quantitative aptitude after the completion of the managerial economics here, and the computer graphics will start with the quantitative aptitude. And we are dealing with the reasoning as well, where we had completed the verbal reasoning, which we had divided into 2 parts, which is the general mental ability and the logic reasoning, where we had completed both of the topics and their subtopics and verbal reasoning. So now we had started with the non-verbal reasoning, which is the first topic we are starting with, that is your series. As I told you, we will start discussing about this, that is we'll deal with more than 1000 questions, so that is we are near about 700 to 800 questions we had done. So you can go through with the playlist and you will find out each and every video there. And first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. You will get all the related information to the playlist, and that what we had uploaded, you will find it out. You can please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel. And thanks for supporting us, because your support is very important to us, and that may means a lot here. So thank you.